I need that mojo. Is the season and all, you know? So I've been thinking a lot about Master Chief, and I've got to say, of all the names Bungie could have given a character, why Master Chief? You're telling me no one in the boardroom was like, hey, maybe we shouldn't give this character a name, it's going to sound terrible after 2006.
No, you did not bring me on here to talk smack about my boy like this.
No, of course not.
Good. Besides, Master Chief is a real naval rank.
No freaking way. Find this issue out right now. Well,
Damn right. Today we're here to cover the development, the lore, the legacy of Master Chief, so buckle up.
get ready for Hero Unlocked. So how does one design a character like Master Chief? Well, I guess we'd have to ask Robert McLeese. Both he and Marcus Leto took on the responsibility of the game's art. The two brought in Shi Kai Wang in order to draw up some conceptual art for Master Chief. After settling on one they liked, they made it into a 3D model and found that he wasn't... how do I put this? He was like too thin or something.
They thought he wasn't manly enough?
Thank you. Goodness. Sometimes I miss the early 2000s. So yeah, they stacked the model, and this became the Master Chief that we found in Halo Combat Evolved. For a good portion of the development of the game, MC didn't even have a name, they just used Master Chief as a placeholder. So I guess they liked it because, I mean, it's his name now. You know, now that I think about it, because of his name, can he even get promoted? Like, would that be too big a shock for the franchise? That's neither here nor there. The character in the first game is voiced by Steve Downes. Steve is a DJ who at the time of the first game's development hadn't even played video games before. However, Downes took on the job and put actual thought in his portrayal of the character. He claimed that he based it on a sketch of the character that begged for a Clint Eastwood kind of character. And I mean, you can't really go wrong with Clint Eastwood. The character was given few speaking lines within the first title because it was generally accepted that the player would take on, the persona of the character, really be in the character's shoes. And yeah, I can kind of see that. That's kind of cool. Now, more about Halo Combat Evolved. Originally a real-time strategy game by Bungie, the project was worked on as a side project for Myth 2. And I kid you not, the game was first called Monkey Nuts. That is, before it was changed to Blam. It was a simpler time. Anyway, at E3 2000, the first Halo trailer was shown displaying the new changes made to the game. It was now a third-person game. And on June 19th, Microsoft announced its acquisition of Bungie. Because of this, the online component of the game had to be discarded as Xbox Live wasn't finished just yet. For all intents and purposes, the game was supposed to be called Halo, and just Halo. However, Microsoft's marketing team felt that it would be too tough to get the game's point across when compared to other shooters. So they added Combat Evolved to the end to make sure that people got the point. And boy did they get the point. Currently sitting at a 97 on Metacritic, it is considered a damn fine game by many, many people. Hell, the guy who reviewed it on Edge magazine, Steve Curran, said that it surpassed GoldenEye as the standard for multiplayer console combat. And that's saying something. So naturally, it's sequel time. In 2004, Master Chief had his next adventure in Halo 2. Released for the Xbox and later for PC, the game aimed to step up every element from the first title. This time, one of the most important features cut from the first game, online multiplayer, took a very vital role in the game's success. That is, when you don't talk about the rampant cheating that took place, and no one ever really does, which is weird. This and other polishing issues were explained by Jamie Griesemer. He mentioned that at about a year before the game's release, the team went through what he termed the mother of all crunches. Factors that may have caused this included having to start again with a new graphics engine after the gameplay was shown at E3 2003. And despite all of this, it still managed to destroy all opposition and review exceptionally well. This means that regardless of the devs' regrets, it was still very good, and that speaks volumes. So I just noticed that the first 3 games are considered a trilogy. Isn't there a Halo 4 and 5?
You ever seen The Matrix 2 and 3?
Oh, okay, I get it. You see, Halos 1 through 3, as well as several others, were developed by Bungie. They began and ended the series canon, kind of, but not really. Well, in 2007, Bungie left Microsoft without their IP, so Microsoft put together 343 Industries to help expand the universe and create more games for the franchise. 343 found it appropriate to connect the Halo universe from all types of media for the future. This means novels, films, etc. At the time, Halo 4 became the most expensive game for the publisher yet. Master Chief himself also got another redesign since its Halo Reach one. This one was meant to focus more on Master Chief as an imposing figure. And then there's Halo 5. Making its home on the Xbox One in 2015, the game set out to use the new technology in order to deliver the most advanced Halo game yet. And whether they did this isn't actually subjective. One such endeavor was making sure that the game ran at a constant 60 frames per second. It's been said that this is what made it so that the game didn't support local multiplayer. When asked about that, Phil Spencer remarked about the vast majority of people who play games together like on Xbox Live. And this is true, but I mean, it never stopped COD and FIFA. So, just saying. Either way, the game did a lot right. And critics saw this too. Many praised the game for the way the mechanics were brought to the modern console, as well as the fluidity of the combat. But man, did people, including myself, find issue with the story. But we'll get to that in a bit.
Alright, development is cool and all, but what about that lore?
While there are some major spoilers, and I do mean major spoilers up ahead, what I'm about to say is not exhaustive in the slightest. There is so much Halo lore, it'd make your head spin. Like, there are books, both comic and novel, freaking novels. So, Master Chief apparently has an actual name, and it's just about as generic as it comes. It's John 117, the 117 being his Spartan tag. John was born in the year 2511 and lived his life as a child on Eurydice 2. By the time John was 6, a character by the name of Dr. Catherine Halsey found John to be a prime candidate for the Spartan 2 program. What happened to the Spartan 1 program? Well, let's just say that didn't end very well. Well, Halsey found him to be a very good candidate because he exhibited higher physical properties and, of course, luck than his peers. So, like most rationally minded video game doctors, she did some crazy BS. 75 children, including John, were taken from their homes and replaced with clones. Now, what's even weirder is that these clones were all meant to die of brain-based issues so that their parents never knew that they were ever kidnapped. At the age of 14, John and the rest of the children were subjected to the Spartan 2 augmentation procedure. This procedure was intended to increase their reflexes, eyesight, and various other properties. It even went as far as to make their bones almost unbreakable. The problem with this procedure is that it's very risky. I mean, 30 of the kids didn't even survive. So now that you know who the heck Master Chief is, we can talk about the events of the Halo games. Some of the events. Of the numbered games. Like I said, I'm not crazy. In Halo 1, John and the crew of the Pillar of Autumn find themselves traveling through space through what can only be described as a wormhole. They call it slip space or something in the game, but I'm pretty sure it's a wormhole, like hyperspeed. You know, something science fiction-y. Anyways, upon exiting hyperspeed, the crew find themselves very near a large ring in space. A halo, if you will. Oh, now I get it. Before long, the crew is then attacked by the Covenant, because this game needed villains. The Pillar of Autumn is eventually on the brink of destruction when John jumps ship with Cortana, the ship's AI that contains special military information. Which makes sense because you gotta keep her away from the baddies, right? Upon the Halo, the humans and the Covenant are fighting it out over the research facility. And during the kerfuffle, the two opposing forces release the Flood. The Flood is a parasitic race of aliens that kill humans and Covenant indiscriminately. Now, why is that important, you ask? Well, because it gives the Halo a purpose. It's effectively a big ol' can of Raid created by the Forerunners, an old race whom the Covenant praises. The Flood needs living things in order to feed, so the Halo kills all living things within 25,000 light years in order to keep the Flood from prevailing. And this is the simplest way for me to describe it. So, thus the MacGuffin is born. The rest of the first title follows Master Chief in his quest to destroy the Halo, as he doesn't want himself and his fellow humans to die. This would also keep the weapon away from the Covenant, as they hope to use the weapon in order to kill the humans. And this is sounding very Mass Effect-y. Is this a very common sci-fi trope? After the events of Halo 2, in which we were given further depth as to the Covenant's motivations, which are crazy, we hit the final title in the Halo trilogy. But we also see along the way that there are members of the Covenant, like the Arbiter, that don't want to see humanity destroyed and actually join forces with them. By the end of his quest in the third game to destroy that game's Halo, Master Chief is exiting the explosion through hyperspace when a blast from the Halo's destruction knocks his ship out of the travel. Now presumed dead, Earth mourns the loss of the brave Master Chief, but he's not dead. Duh. To start off the Reclaimer saga, he's in cryonic sleep until such a time as someone finds him drifting through space. But if you complete the game in Legendary, you get a small preview of the setting of the next game. And to be honest, it seems like more of a side quest to me rather than a Halo game. Don't get me wrong, I think it was the right move plot-wise to move away from the Halo destruction thing, because, I mean, I can kind of see how that could wear out its welcome. But Yeah, it seems a little forced here. I mean, the Human Covenant War is over, so there's not really a need for the Halos to be the focus, so... 343 did take some creative chances that I think were, for the most part, you know, worth the while. Like Cortana's sickness thing. That's pretty cool. Like, could you imagine if Alexa caught a cold or something? That'd be so sad. I mean, how else would I find out what the weather's gonna be like? I'd be so lost. And then there's Halo 5 Guardians. Halo 5 is polarizing, and for no bigger reason than the campaign. I mean, most people can agree that the lack of split screen was a really dodgy move, but no. As far as the story goes, you either like it or you don't. For me, it's all just framing for Infinite. You see, when you're building parts of a series, it's important that you leave enough space for expansion in a later title, which is fine. But to some degree, you have to end some plot lines. For me, this title really didn't tie up any loose ends. It didn't resolve any storylines that I really cared about. But what's worse is at the end of the main game, you see Chief and Halsey meet up, and that's it. It just cuts to credits. Like, whose creative choice was that? I feel like that last ending segment would have made a much better trailer for Infinite. But it was used as a cliffhanger, and that's... I don't know. That doesn't seem right to me. Microsoft has gotten a lot of flack as of late, but it can't be argued that they have some of the most recognizable Western IPs in gaming. No matter who develops his games, we know that Master Chief is in the hands of people who care about the franchise and want to see it go places that no one thought it would. Whether you enjoy everything Halo or are just a fan of the original trilogy, you know of Chief's importance in gaming culture. You know that the West can put out powerhouse narratives and aren't afraid to tackle outlandish themes. You know what Halo means to millions of Xbox fanatics and casual gamers alike. He is lean, he is mean, he is Master Chief Petty Officer John 117. And I still think that's too much.
Thank you so much for watching. I mean, I had such a blast. And I'm sure you did too. But if you did really have such a good time, I want you to go down to that button. I want you to hit that like, follow and subscribe. And then you can also follow me on my Twitter page. That's King David OTW. And you can also check us out at the Iron Lords Podcast on YouTube, where we have Combat Talk, we have Flashpoints with Ibantis, and Lord Cognito, which is always hilarious and very intuitive when it comes to learning that new stuff with Destiny. And we also have the Stream Team, where you have Lord Attic doing the hardest imaginable games that's out here today. So please, like, follow, and subscribe. See you soon.